All right, YouTube, this is 2 Cent back with my 2 cents on Octopath Traveler, and today I want to kind of bring a different sort of video. Typically, we talk about a video before the release or right at the release, kind of like a precursor, what is this unit about, and then if I'm polling for the unit, yeah, sometimes you get like a nice little poll video there, just to kind of, have a little hype. But I don't typically talk about units after the fact if I've pulled them as kind of like a reflective, did I do the right thing? Was this a good use of my rubies? And I think I'm going to do that this time for Lianna, mostly because I typically don't pull on a banner that's not reduced rate, and I typically don't just keep pulling until I have no rubies left. So I kind of wanted to give my thoughts on whether or not I think this was a good idea in post, as far as, like hindsight. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get into it right here. All right, so for those who have seen my poll video, you know that I spent enough for 8 polls, so 8 multi-polls on the banner, and which would, is enough to get 80 exchange points. So somebody in the comments pointed out, hey, you know what, you went this far, maybe you might want to look to get the accessory. And I kind of thought about that. It's like, okay, I could probably do it before the banner goes away because we had, 2 weeks rather than just 1, which is nice. So I was like, okay, I can probably do that. And then it was kind of like, well, should I do that? And I was like, well, part of the reason I pulled on this banner anyway was to pick up a debt. So I was like, why don't we go ahead, get to that 100 mark, at least get a nice exclusive accessory for her, which if you don't know, it's actually pretty good. I'll showcase it a little bit later on in here. But I thought, oh man, maybe I will actually get to pick up a debt, and that'd be nice. But no, I ended up getting a second copy of her. So this is actually kind of nice. So back-to-back, polls here, even though they were timed apart, it was able to get me to Awakened 1. And so then I was like, okay, well, it took me some extra farming here because I just went up to that 300 mark. And it was kind of nice because during this time I was actually able to get a few things done. So I finally got Elvis to 5-star. I had kind of just been slacking on that. I finally went through, defeated the level 100 NPC for that, and then ended up getting him to 5-star actually today, which was kind of nice. So also this poll here is actually today. So we're about like over the last week and a half of just little snippets here of my my polling here. So unfortunately, this second poll isn't going to be the best. Mostly just 4 stars here, which is okay because one of the things I've been doing with my 4 stars is getting them all the way up to level 74. That way you can unlock the most influence points for them, and then going and awakening the other ones, all the way up after that, just in case I need to use them in the future. So that's what I've been doing. This, so I did 10 polls and I ended up getting a dupe Millard and 2 Liannas on here, and I think I got another unit sometime in the first video. I can't remember, but that definitely wasn't too bad. What's nice here is this cloak. It really kind of helps her out by reducing that sort of SP cost for her, and if you do know, her SP cost is pretty high. So I really enjoyed being able to pick this up while picking up a copy of her. So I'm going to call this a win as far as just the polling aspect of things. So we have that to kind of look at as kind of the first piece here. So let's now look at kind of the usefulness that I've had from her in just the last week and a half, and I was actually pretty surprised, and I know She's a Cat's put out a video on Lianna earlier today, which I do kind of like to watch after I've made my videos, just to kind of see, oh, okay, well, that's not how I thought of that before, or something like that, which is always, nice to hear other perspectives. So, one thing he mentioned in there was that she's not really healer and not really damage dealer. She's kind of like her own thing, and what I kind of gleaned from that was interesting, because that's kind of naturally how she kind of fit into my team and the role for doing content here. So I kind of already was at that point with the character, but I hadn't actually put that thought into into words at this point yet. So that was kind of neat to kind of see that reflection there. And one of the things that I used her for, as you can see here, is I actually went through and I was able to defeat Varkin, which I'm not sure I would have been able to do without her. I had not tried Varkin prior to this, but I knew it's like, okay, I have a bunch of warriors, and I have Sophia as my very first character who I had got, and now I have Lianna. Let's go in and see what we can do. And it was actually pretty neat the way that she kind of synergized, and I'll kind of, you know, try to give you a rundown of how I utilized her specifically during this fight, in case you have her out there or are interested in pulling her before she goes away in, at this point, what, another day. So here's the three skills, you know, the three abilities I ran on her during that fight. And yes, they're all really high SP cost abilities. And, you know, honestly, I didn't have the accessory at this point to, you know, reduce her SP costs, but I never found it like a real issue because of the way that I was using her, and then being able to kind of like, you know, swap in the amount of damage that she was taking to recover that SP, you know, via her support skill. I did put in one of the dragon scarves, or I think it is one of the regen for SP, so she was getting 9 regen SP SP regen from that, so that did help with that. But basically what I found was really nice is I would have Viola, who, you know, was going to go out first anyway. It doesn't, you know, really matter the order, but she would debuff Varkin's both attack and defense, and then I would have her bring out this glacier hit that then would also debuff attack and elemental attack for everybody. So this, you know, nice AoE. And so then it would just, you know, started with Varkin, and then I would have Viola do another one, and then have her do the third one. And so then all three were, you know, pretty much max attack and elemental attack downed almost the entire fight. And she would just be able to reapply that kind of buff to extend it throughout the entire encounter, which was really nice. And on turns that I didn't really need it, she was either regenning herself, or she could then go out and reduce their speed, which was, you know, obviously really nice to have as well. And then when it came later on in the fight, where you didn't want to necessarily AoE if you've done the fight, there's a point where you're not quite sure if it's going to be a problem hitting everything on the field. She was able to just use her healing spirit and give me the much needed elemental defense for that time period. So it also would boost up Sophia as well with that. So I felt that this unit was basically, it felt like it was almost like tailored to being a very great support for that fight. And honestly, kind of made it really easy for me. Now, I can't say that to be the same for everybody. Everybody has different team makeups or something like that, and maybe you don't have Viola or Sophia or something like that she's kind of synergizing with for these things. But I do have to say that I'm not sure I would have beat Varkin without her. So with that being said, like, you know, do I think that it was worth spending all those rubies for her? And I'm gonna have to say yes. Like, I don't know when she'll have the next fight will she be that useful in again. But I do have to think that, man, this was a unit that I wasn't necessarily excited for when I first got her, because I really was searching for a debt out of that. But I'm actually very surprised on how seamlessly she kind of fit into my team, and I didn't feel like I was missing out on damage from who I replaced, and then didn't feel like the support was kind of like not useful. I actually feel like she's very useful to have these AoE abilities. And now I can be somewhat lazy in fights. Instead of using, bringing out Viola to, single target somebody down, I can just use her ice attack to just, bring everybody's attack and elemental damage down if I need to, and then, do some damage at the same time. So it's kind of a nice little ease of access unit there. Anyway, I know a lot of people out there probably not super hyped from her, compared to the other, units with Alfin being around, and with the idea that Cyrus is not going to be too far down the line. But I just wanted to point out that I did really, feel good about pulling this unit. And even if that means that I miss out on Alfin or Cyrus or something like that, I'm okay with that. And I just wanted to put that out there for anybody else who might be kind of thinking or deliberating themselves, or maybe you're looking to tackle Varkin. This could be something you'd be interested in. For these aforementioned reasons. And if you made it this far into the video, please take the time to go ahead and click here or here. It's just a new game that's going to be coming out probably sometime early next year, and just kind of take a look at it with me with the trailers, and let me know in the comments what you kind of think of them. And that's been my 2 cents.